Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I have for you 5 tips for faster leveling. We're gonna talk about loot filter, links and colors, shop management, pack selection, and resistances. Those are gonna be the 5 things. So let's start with the loot filter. One of the things that will speed up your leveling the most is preparation. That includes knowing what build you're going for, what links are you gonna need, which items are you interested in picking up and which you aren't, and so on and so forth. So for example, if you are playing a spellcaster, you can hide, for example, normal rustic sash from the early game. And if you're playing a physical damage, like if you're playing melee or something like that casts spells that have physical component like EK, then you want to show rustic sash, and maybe even you want to highlight a well-rolled rustic sash and hide things that only casters would be interested in. So this is definitely something you want to spend some time optimizing and fixing up for yourself, because you basically need to make it once, and then every new league your loot filter can be updated. So as long as you keep it up to date and every now and then you just make a little tweak, that first initial investment of time that it takes to set up a really good loot filter is definitely going to pay off. Because for, you know, like they say, for every 10 minutes of preparation you save an hour. Basically that's how it works with loot filters, because you only have to spend an hour one time and set it up and do it correctly, and then later on every single time you play the game you're speeding yourself up, because you're not going to be looking at items that are actually really bad for you to pick up. So definitely work on your loot filter, or find someone who has a good loot filter. I will put my loot filter in the description below. However, it has custom sounds which will be also on a Google Drive, which you can use, but not everybody likes those sounds. But you can just look at how I'm doing it and just copy what I'm doing and do loot filter like this, or just change all the custom sounds to the normal sounds. So loot filter, very, very important, definitely very, very helpful, and it depends on the character you're playing. Second one related to that is links and colors. If you're starting leveling with melee, then you're gonna need different items with different links and colors than if you're playing a caster, and then if you're playing like a bow character, a ranger, right? So definitely you need to make sure that you understand which skills you're gonna be using, which support skills you're gonna be using, and what are the colors and links that you need. For example, I'm leveling a witch, and the links I need for that are 3-link blue blue blue, blue blue green, and green green blue. Those are the ones I need. I have them highlighted in my filter. 3-link items like that up until I think like level 12 or level 15 I have them highlighted. Even normal items with those links and colors are very valuable and very important, so I'm gonna see them, excluding chest armor, because I don't want to wear chest armor early on because it slows you down. So this is something that you definitely need to pay attention to, because the better your links, the better your character can be. Early on, adding an additional skill to your character or adding an additional support gem is huge. It can like dramatically change how good or how weak your character is. So this is very, very important. Like being able to fit an additional aura, being able to fit in early like war banner, blood and sand, being able to have your movement skill linked to arcane surge, being able to have onslaught linked to your main skill that you're killing the monsters with. Like all of that is super, super helpful and important. And if you know that already, you're gonna be able to look for that in the drops that you're getting, and also in the shop, which is the third tip that I have for you, which is shop management. So if you didn't know, the shop, the vendors that you have in game, the NPCs you talk to, reset every single time you level up. So whenever your character levels up, the shop resets, and that gives you an opportunity to look for example, movement speed boots, which are the runners boots that give you like a 10% movement speed early on. So this is something good to look for every time you're in the shop and buying stuff and you have leveled since the last time. You can look for links that you're missing. For example, I'm playing the witch, so I need wands and also helmet, gloves, or boots with the right links, and that's what I'm looking for every single time I am in the shop, and the shop is reset from the last time I leveled up. Also, you can look for things like coral rings. You can look for resistance rings every single time you look at the shop. Let's say you are interested in a resistance ring, but they have very bad rolls, you can level up, look again in the shop, and maybe they have better rolls. Maybe you can get like 30 resistance or like 16 two-stone resistance ring, something like that. This is very, very helpful, and it will help you find the items you need from the shops. Fourth tip is pack selection. So pack selection is something that new players definitely make a mistake with. They overlevel, they waste time killing the wrong monsters. So what you want to focus on when you kill monsters while you're running through the early game is, if you see blue monsters, unless there's like only one or two of them, but if there is like a pack of blue monsters, you want to prioritize killing those, because they give you much more experience than the white monsters, but they don't take that much longer to kill. Like, they take, let's say, twice as long to kill, but they give you so much experience that it is worth doing it. And then you want to prioritize killing big packs. So let's say you're playing with Freezing Pulse early on. You want to make sure that you're aligning the monsters in a like a row, in a line, and then hitting all of them with your Freezing Pulse so that you don't waste time hitting each individual one. You want to make sure that you aim your AoE to hit as many monsters as possible. That's why you want big juicy packs, and those are the ones you can stop for and hit. Rest of them you're gonna ignore and just run between them and hit your Quicksilver Flask, and make sure that you keeping, like, if you have two Quicksilver Flasks, a good tip I can give you is to alternate them, because if you press one of them and then the other one is full, and then you press the one you pressed before again, you are not refilling charges on both. If you press one and then the other, they're both at half, and you refill it, you are refilling charges for both of them. That's how you want to do. You want to alternate the Quicksilver Flasks. Another thing is, keep using your flasks before you are killing monsters. So let's say you have you're missing some life and you're missing some life and mana, and you want to use your life and mana flasks, and you're gonna kill some monsters. First use the flasks, then kill the monsters, and then you will refill the flasks, and then you can use them again if they damaged you. So make sure you're aware of how you are refilling your flasks, and basically you kill some packs, you refill the Quicksilver, and then run with the Quicksilver, and then if you need it again, you kill some monsters again. And that should be enough. You don't want to be too high level. If you are at the level of the zone that you're at, you're high level, like you're high enough. You don't need to be even at this level of the zone. If you're like 1 or 2 levels below the level of the zone, that's pretty much perfect. And the last fifth thing I want to talk about are the resistances. So many new players are not sure about, like, how am I supposed to get resistances? Like, how important are they? Which resistance which resistances should I prioritize? So let me tell you about the early game, like the first few acts, where when you are getting your character for the first time, and you're looking for the resistance rings and what do you need to equip. So first of all, you are going to need some cold resistance before you get to Merveil. So at before level 12, when you're getting to Merveil, for the Merveil fight, you want to have, like, for example, 2 sapphire rings. That's enough, right? If you have if you're, like, for example, I'm playing Witch, I pick Frostwalker, that gives me 15% cold res, and then if I have 2 max roll sapphire rings, that gives me 75 cold res, and the Merveil fight is just super easy, right? So you want cold resistance for the Act 1. For Act 2, you want some lightning resistance for the Chamber of Sins, usually. It's not that important, but it definitely helps. For Act 3, you want some fire resistance for the crematorium, and then also for the docks, where they are here. The docks and the crematorium, fire resistance definitely helps in that. So if you can find some ruby rings and equip them in Act 3, they're gonna help you. And then you want some cold resistance for the library, and you want lightning resistance for the Scepter God. When you're fighting Dominus, lightning resistance definitely is going to help you. And the reason why this is important to know, because you might have multiple rings, so you can keep multiple resistance rings in your inventory, and then if you get to, for example, fight Dominus, you can switch your cold resist ring for lightning resist, which is more important in this fight. Later on in Act 4, you should probably start looking closer at your gear, pick up more rares and identify. This is where you start getting some decent items, and you can start crafting resistances on them. Also, this is where you want to get, like, before you get to Belly of the Beast, right before, like, so you do Grand Arena, which you need cold red, like the rest of Dream Grand Arena, you want cold res for, and then Count's Dream Count Stronghold, you want fire res for this, especially for the boss fight. And then also one thing you want to take care of is after that, before you get into the belly of the beast, try to roll life flask or any flask for that matter, but preferably life flask with bleed removal. That will help you a ton because mobs here start having like nasty puncture, and from this point on, you basically should always have a flask that gives you bleed removal. And then in Act 5, resistances are not that important, but what helps is definitely a defensive flask. So for example, a granite flask that gives you a lot of armor, or a flask that gives you a bunch of evasion, definitely helps when you're getting to like the torched courts, because monsters there start hitting really hard. There are a lot of rares that have auras that are very nasty and like deal tons of physical damage, so you want to either avoid them or mitigate them. So that's it for this video. Those are my 5 tips. There's definitely gonna be more videos with tips like that coming up, so make sure to subscribe and look out for the new content, which is gonna be mainly focused on Path of Exile right now. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.